Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Miami Beach Senior Affairs Committee meeting, May 24th, 2021. I'd like to welcome all the members of our committee. My name is Debbie Quaid, and I chair this committee with my co-chair, Oscar Lorente from Mount Sinai Hospital. We'd like to welcome all the members and all the Facebook and public who's joined us this morning. We hope we have some really good information for you today. The agenda is going to cover things like hurricane preparedness. We are going to have a presentation regarding transportation, and we will get an update from all of our senior housing. This committee looks and seeks out anything that the seniors might need in the city of Miami Beach. If you know of a senior that's in need or you have any suggestions of how to help the seniors of our town, the committee will take your recommendations, our recommendations, to the commission and the mayor so that we can assist and enhance everybody's life. So welcome this morning. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Everyone's had a chance to review the minutes. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll go ahead and motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Oscar. A second?
Yes, I can approve.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Approved.
Unanimous approval. Pardon me? Okay. Unanimous approval. The minutes will go into the record, and let's get started. Our first presentation is from April Hoyt, who is the Senior Vice President of Safety and Administrator of Mount Sinai regarding hospital plans during the hurricane. Diana, is that the order you want to go in? Do we have anyone that has to leave earlier?
Yes, I think April's the one that had to leave early.
Okay, so April, welcome, and let's talk about hospital plans during the hurricane.
Well, thank you so much. I prepared just a couple of slides, so I'll go ahead and share my my screen with you, if that's okay. So I just want to talk a little bit about what Mount Sinai does in preparation for hurricane season. There's always so many plans, and we always are moving forward with making our plans better. Every year we learn from any storms that we do have, and probably more importantly from storms that we don't have. All the preparation that goes into the buildup before the storm. And if it doesn't actually hit, then we can still learn a lot from that. So what I wanted to start with is just some basics about the hospital preparedness. So the medical center does utilize what's called an incident command system. It's an all hazards approach for anticipated and unanticipated emergency situations. Hopefully, or this may be familiar to some of you, this is used internationally. After 9/11, it was put together, this incident, national incident management system was put together in order to have, to reduce the confusion and chaos that's commonly experienced during the onset of a medical or community or building disaster. So if you put yourself into this incident command system, it really helps leadership respond quickly and with a structure and a focus and a direction of activities. The main basis of the command center is that all information goes up to the command center. They look at the resources based on their position. So we have an incident commander that will say, okay, we have this issue, X number of resources. This is the plan that we're going to use. So we really do truly believe that this is the best way to approach any emergency situation. And we do implement our full command center during hurricanes. And we actually implement it in conjunction with our community partners, especially at Miami Beach. So our main campus, Miami Beach, does not evacuate during hurricanes unless there's an imminent danger as determined by the incident commander. I will say that I've been here for 11 years. We've never considered evacuation. And I believe that we have not had an evacuation ever in the history of Mount Sinai here. We do have freestanding emergency departments. I hope you're aware of them in Aventura and Hialeah. And those freestanding emergency departments, for the most part, will stay open. But once again, we look at it on a case-by-case basis, depending on the storm. We always want to, it is our mission to be available to the community as much as possible and for as long as possible during storm and emergency situations. And part of that is not only staying open as long as we can, but also the reopen plan or restart of services. So our physician office services, cancer center services, elective procedures, they're all maintained as long as we can safely do so. Our command center is located in a secure area of the building, no windows, no exterior walls. The command center is set up to handle all functions of the hospital. So we do all of our messaging from their employee hotline messages, communication with community partners, media communication, all of that comes from the command center. All requests for resources, emergency supplies, all filtered through the command center, once again, to prevent that confusion and chaos. We do have communication via email, as long as it's available, phones, radios. So as much direct communication, we have redundant communication because that is the most important thing during an emergency event. And the one thing that typically is looked at that could be better is communication. So we want to make sure that we do our best. Leadership updates are provided routinely. So we meet during the storm. Things have changed a little bit for COVID. Some of those may be Zoom meetings like this, or presentations that are sent out, or smaller huddles. So we've really had to do a lot of adjustments for COVID. But we are still able to maintain that nice line of communication. So our community partnerships are very important to us. We want to make sure that we have the support of Miami Beach, and we do, of course. But we really, when designing our new surgical tower, we involved our community partners to ensure that we could enhance and strengthen our strong partnership. So what we did is, when we were building our surgical tower, we actually built a secondary command center for Miami Beach emergency operations. So they actually have their own facility, and here is a picture of that here on the left-hand side. They have a full command center where they can operate all of their functions from there. And the picture on the right, it's right above the emergency department. It's nestled right on the roof of our emergency department. So we really make sure that our community partners are here. In the last few years, we've had push teams that have been here. We've housed the police, the operations center, fire rescue. We have a very strong partnership that we value from the city. So into our staffing team. So how do we staff the hospital? As I said, we keep it open. So we need people to be here. So we have staffing teams. They're called Team A, Team B. So Team A presents at the designated time typically during a phase 3, so the storm watcher warning. And they stay until the roads are closed. Some important things that we tell our Team A: they have to be strong individuals who are willing to work in some unusual circumstances. It's really important that when the storm hits, if something does happen to the facility, that we can recover quickly or put our alternate plans into place so that we can continue to function and service our patients. Our patients' safety is the most important to us. So all Team A members are prepared to stay for 3 days. And they are activated based on the conditions. So we look at things like buses, when are the causeways being shut down? When are the winds anticipated to start? We always tell our staff, be prepared for anything. There's going to be tasks that are beyond your normal duties. The windows may leak, the toilets may not flush. We have unusual things that happen in a big hospital system. And we make sure that even though there is chaos happening in the facility, we are making sure that our patients are not experiencing that chaos, that they're still, receiving all of the services that they need, all of the medical care, and we're all happy-go-lucky, even if the toilets aren't flushing. So Team B reports to the hospital at the designated time after the storm. as soon as the roads are clear. So this is a little bit strategic. Sometimes the team A is pretty tired, so we try to get our team B in there as quickly as possible, and this is where our community partnerships really do come in. We work with the city of Miami Beach to get our employees across the causeway as quickly as possible. Re-entry plans do include Mount Sinai for Miami Beach. We ask them all to carry their IDs, go through the correct causeway. A lot of times the officials with Miami Beach will ask us to go across one particular causeway so that they can filter traffic appropriately. So let's talk a little bit about supplies. How do we maintain ourselves? So in general, Mount Sinai maintains policies in place where we either have the supplies and the preparedness that we need on site, or we have conservation and sustainability plans. Our goal is to survive for 96 hours with no assistance from outside, meaning no deliveries, no help, nobody coming to the facility and dropping anything off, no FEMA assistance. We rely on our own plans for those first 96 hours. So we look at things like medical and non-medical supplies. We have emergency supply caches. We have emergency contracts with vendors that will deliver right before a storm. Our non-medical supply conservation measures, linen is a big thing. If you were to house all the linen, little fun fact, if you were to house all the linen that we would need for 96 hours, you'd need an actual warehouse for itself on our campus. Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many tons of linen we go through a day. But that's really important. Obviously, that's a big concern for patient care. We need to have fresh linens for them, and good blankets, and make sure that they feel safe and secure. So we do go into a linen conservation, and none of that linen is used by our staff. That's strictly for patient care. So pharmaceuticals, naturally, on an everyday basis, we maintain 96 hours of supplies on campus or alternative therapies. We have a lot of pharmacists that work and say, okay, if this one drug is not available, this is what we can use. This happens every day simply because there are a lot of drug shortages in the United States. So we have to look and think creatively of what other alternatives we can use. We also have emergency contracts with vendors. Food is always the big topic. Food is the big topic with staff, and food is the big topic with patients. So we do have emergency food caches that are non-perishables. Those are not the fun things that people like to eat, mainly a lot of oatmeal, things like that. But we do have that. We also get emergency contracts. We have emergency contracts with vendors to deliver right before the storm. It's really important to note we get food deliveries 6 days a week. So to even miss one day is a huge impact to our food plans. So we do specialized diets. We go into food conservation for our staff. But important to note that we work with dietitians to ensure that we're all receiving the proper nutrients and the proper amount of calories per meal. And then, of course, fuel. So we fill our fuel tanks at the beginning of the season. We send out notices to encourage employees to keep a full gas tank. And we have in the past supplemented with companies that are willing to come out onto campus and fuel our staff vehicles. One of our big challenges that we have is our staff work really hard. They work 12-hour days. By the time they are ready to leave, the last thing that they want to do is go to the store and battle lines for food and fuel. So we try to help our staff as much as possible because they're giving up so much to be here with the patients. So we want to make sure that they feel prepared and that their families feel prepared as well. As far as the physical facility preparedness, this is an ongoing thing that we do. Our windows, all impact windows throughout all inpatient care areas. We have shutters and plywood for some physician office buildings and business areas that would not have employees or patients in them during a storm. Generators. We have a state-of-the-art generator plant, the Finker Frankel Energy Center, donated by a wonderful family that has helped us grow our emergency generators. We have 16 dual fuel generators that can power the entire hospital. It is an amazing place to look at. it is state of the art, and dual fuel really helps because that way when natural gas, we don't have to start using our diesel supply, which obviously you have to refill. We use natural gas until natural gas from the city is cut off for whatever reason, if it ever is, which really helps. That way it ensures that we'll never run out of fuel. We have way over 96 hours of fuel prepared for our generators. Our seawall, hopefully if you've been around the campus, you have noticed some activity around our seawall. We're strengthening the seawall so that we don't all wash away, which is really important. So replacement of the main campus seawall, we are increasing it to a height of an average about 4 foot or 4 feet from the existing. This will help us protect our hospital so much, protect against erosion along the bay. This is a huge project that we're working on with the Army Corps of Engineers. So we've gotten a lot of assistance in order to stay and maintain our services throughout storms. Chillers, I don't know if you know what those are, but those are really important things and not a lot of people know what they are. So we have huge, what's called chiller machines that really pump up, and what they do is they create the air conditioning. Nobody wants to live without air conditioning during the storm or after. So we have, you can see in the little picture there, that's our actual facility, our 6 chiller fans. So we've done a replacement of our chillers to state-of-the-art magnetic bearing centrifugal chillers. I don't expect you to know what that is, but just know that they are really high power and really modernized chilling and cooling systems. We have future projects to protect that even further, because by far I would say the biggest things that are important are food, water, and air conditioning. You can almost live through anything else in a medical facility. Even we're very creative without electricity. So, but those 3 things patients really need. So the last thing I just wanted to mention, and I'm sure that this has been mentioned maybe throughout the committee, is that we are a medical management facility for the emergency evacuation assistance program through Miami-Dade County. So if you don't have information on that for your community, for your constituents here, then we definitely will get that to you, because we, the medical management facilities house some of the community partners that need assistance with their electrically dependent or oxygen dependent. So that's all I have for you today. Any questions or anything else you want me to expand upon?
I have a question, April. When you mention the community partners, who are you referring to as community partners?
So we have partnerships throughout the county, but specifically what I was showing was Miami Beach. So Miami Beach Emergency Operations Center, we partner with them. They come and stay at our facility in their command center, but also Miami Beach Police, Miami Beach push teams, which are the people that clear the roads, clear the access. EMS, we like to keep them on the beach, so we're able to house them so that they can stay safely here, so that when the storm passes, they can quickly get out there. However, we also have great partnerships with Miami-Dade County. I am on the committee for the Miami-Dade County Healthcare Preparedness Coalition. I have chaired that committee for many years. Not chairing currently, but I have for many years. And we have great partnerships with Miami-Dade County Emergency Operations Center. So we really try to go out there. I don't know if you've heard of the coalition, but it has many different members: dialysis centers, cancer centers, hospitals, the police, fire rescue. So there's a lot of partnerships out there that we maintain.
April, I think also Debbie was inquiring about patients that need electricity, that are on a dialysis machine, that are on a oxygen machine. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, of course. So there's a program through Miami-Dade County called the Emergency Evacuation Assistance Program, EEAP. So any community member can sign up. You have to apply. I can get you the information on how to apply. It's a simple form online, but I believe you may need some documentation from your physician. And it just asks what your challenges are, whether it's dialysis, whether it's continuous oxygen or continuous electricity. And then what happens is they put you into a database and you are assigned to a facility, typically the one closest to you. So we have a lot of people, but you can make, I believe you can make special requests as well. So we have community members, our neighbors, our people that live, around us, our patient population, that if they are in need during a storm and they're afraid to stay at home or they don't want to evacuate, they are evacuated to our facility. And we are a medical management facility, which means that we house them and we ensure that they have electricity. We ensure that they have continuous oxygen, continuous shelter that is safe. So we do that for a lot. And that program has been growing more and more over the years throughout Miami-Dade County, but also through Mount Sinai. We have about 130 people that are registered to our facility. Not all of them evacuate at the same time. Some people do wish to stay at their homes. I will say the biggest one that I've seen is probably during Irma. As it got closer, the more and more people wanted to come. So I can definitely send you that information. I was going to put it on here, but I wasn't sure if you already had it or not. But it's a really important program, I think, for those that are in need of some special assistance during storms.
April, I have the link in my presentation where they can go and read about it and then sign up through that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Is this a community service? Do they have to be in insurance or in the healthcare system of Mount Sinai?
No, they do not. We don't
Excellent.
take money from them. We don't, we just do it as a benefit to the community.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. Does anybody have any questions for April? No, thank you so much. Thank you for
And I
putting
do
this
see,
together for us and giving your time. We really appreciate all that Mount Sinai does for us and our residents. So have a beautiful day, April.
Thank you so much.
I think, sorry, April, Marista has a question from you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Miss Mari Bauer. We have a question about the program that you were just talking about. How can we help our seniors in Unidad sign for that program?
So I believe Irene said she had the link in her presentation, but there is a link online. If you go to Miami-Dade County's emergency operations website, they will have the Emergency Evacuation Assistance Program. It's called the EEAP. And the link will be right there, and I believe you can download the application as well in order to handwrite it. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that though. That is Miami-Dade County.
That's your program?
I'm sorry, what?
Larissa's gonna go ahead and send the information to all of us. So let's wait for her. How's that? Larissa?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Irene from the city, she's gonna give us all the information.
Okay, thank you.
Can we wait? Okay.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I could talk about emergency management all day, so I hope that you all feel comfortable that Mount Sinai is prepared. I work really hard, and so does my team, to ensure that we are ready for the community in any sort of event, not just hurricanes. So thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, April.
Thank you so much.
And our next presentation is from the City of Miami Beach's hurricane plans for our seniors update. And is this going to be Larissa?
It's going to be Irene.
Oh, Irene. Okay. Irene, introduce yourself and let's hear all the great things you have to say.
Okay, so I'm Irene Bolinas. I'm an emergency management technician for the City of Miami Beach Division of Emergency Management. I spend a lot of time doing community outreach in regards to preparedness. So I am so glad to be on to help get our seniors prepared. The one comment that I want to start out with is it's very important to prepare, and with the ones that are on this Zoom meeting, be a pebble in the water, okay? It's important to be a pebble in the water. You know, when you drop that pebble, it sends the waves out, so that now that you're obtaining this preparedness information, make sure as you drop that stone that you send out the things that you learned today to those around you. Diana, do you want to share my screen? Who shares my screen?
You can go ahead and do it as a panelist. You can share your screen like you did it this morning.
Got it. And there it is. Okay, so we all want to be prepared. It's most important that we make a plan, and that's probably what I'm going to spend a lot of time on with these slides. You need to make a plan. You need to make it now. Preparedness is not just for hurricanes, okay? Preparedness is year-round. You could have anything. You could have an explosion, and, you know, you need to have your kit if you're, you know, having to stay in your building. Hurricanes, yes. Tornadoes, flooding. You always need to have your kit ready, and you always need to be prepared with your the people that you know outside your network. So it's very important. We, you know, it's just be prepared. This is something that they do nationwide to make it very short and sweet. Make a plan, build a kit, and stay informed. Okay. All right. So we're going to start out building a kit. The one thing I want to say about building a kit is you don't have to spend a lot of money to build that kit. Even with the demo kit that we use, I went to the dollar store and Walmart, and I got everything in that kit, and it's very cheap. So consider that instead of having to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You know, the most important thing is water, okay? Make sure you have enough water. It's 1 gallon per day per person for at least 96 hours. We encourage, instead of buying just a little water thing, buy a bigger amount in a bigger container so that you can save on the environment without using all these little water bottles. You need to make sure we're going to be talking further about some of this up here, but you know, you're going to pack your own little to-go bag with your clothes, your medication, your own personal items, you know, like shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, but you're going to pack what we have a Rubbermaid container, and we put the bigger items in there. You know, you have your radio, it can operate by battery, but it might be better if it's a crank radio. Also solar. With that, you're going to put together a quick first aid kit. It's important not to use anything that you're going to plug in. So because you don't have power, what are you going to do? So we tell you to either try to find solar or to stock up on your battery. Once a year, we usually say in the month of May, you should go through your kit and make sure the date has not expired on the items that you have in your kit. All right, let's go next. Now we have a unique new kit you're going to put together. And even though you think that the COVID-19 is winding down, it's still out there, okay? So we now want you to work on adding a COVID kit. And as you can see, once again, dehydration, you know, your temperature gauge, any medication you think that will help offset some of the symptoms that you have, definitely cleaning supplies, and a mask and gloves. So we want you know, that you choose to use soap, you can choose to use hand cleaners, but we'll tell you at this point, soap will take care of the germs a lot better than your normal hand cleaners that you have out there. Now, important, you know, when I do presentations in person, the number one thing I hear for not evacuating is because I have a pet. And what I say to you is now is the time that you need to set up what you'll do with your pet. And that means you can choose to go. There are some evacuation centers out there that will allow your pet to come in. However, we say that evacuation centers are of last resort. It's like a lifeboat. If you can not go to an evacuation center, please do not. So set up your outreach people now. Now, if you're, we also say when you're going to evacuate, don't forget about your pets. And so these are some of the things. They need water too. Make sure you have their medical records from their vet. We know about collars, carriers. A picture of you and your pet together in case your pet gets lost. Okay, and so you have a picture of you together. If you can get the little, and I can't remember what it's called, they shoot it under the skin and then they can scan it. So if they get into a vet area or whatever, they can scan it and they can find you. Any important document, don't forget the toys. You don't want them to be bored, so get those toys out there, and plastic or litter bags to help clean up after your pet. If you notice along the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, there are 2 websites where you can go at this point and find out where there are actually hotels that will allow pets. So if you have to evacuate, you can go to a hotel. All right, your support network. This is what I was talking about before. This is very important. Okay. So you're going to need to put together a personal support network, and this can be your family, your friends, any other people you can think of outside of your area. Because if you have to evacuate, as we say, you don't want to go to evacuation center. That's your last resort. But sit down and talk with these individuals and say, can I come, if I have to evacuate, can I come to your residence and stay until, we have a reentry back onto the beach? So set that up now. This is your personal support system. Go ahead and write down an emergency plan, and emergency management is there to help assist you in that writing of the plan. And then share that with your personal support system so they know what's going to go, what's going to happen. And this is with your home and your workplace. If you're working, they need to know what's going to happen with you as well. Make sure. Let me see here. There's your plan. Okay. Evacuation plan, you need to know emergency plan, evacuation plan. Make sure you have that your personal network has a set of keys to your house or your vehicle in case you lose them or they're the ones that have to come back to your residence to see any of the damage that may be going on. Okay. And then make sure that you teach that around you, your personal support network. If you have medical equipment or or medication, teach them how to work that equipment. So if you are, and these include the people that you have to evacuate too, teach them how to work that equipment so that if for some reason you're incapacitated and you're unable to do so at that minute, then they can step in and help you with that. And then do drills. We do that in Miami Beach all the time. We make a plan, we prepare the plan, we exercise the plan, and then we evaluate the plan. So that's something that you can do as well. Practice your plan, practice it with your support network, so that, I say to everyone, once you get your resources, know where your resources are, you set up your plan, that helps you take the step through the wall of fear of what's going on around you. Because you kind of freeze and you go, oh no, what am I supposed to do? But if you have these resources, it helps you take that step through that wall of fear. Now, when we do an evacuation, the mayor of the county will work with the emergency management for the county, and they make a decision of what zones need to be evacuated. As you can see, Miami Beach is in Zone B, we are part of it. We typically say that if Zone A is asked to evacuate, that, you know, we almost always say Zone B, because as you know, we're surrounded by water. So people think the winds are what's going to impact them. It's not the wind. It's going to be the flooding. It's going to be the storm surge. That's where most of the damage occurs. That's where most of the death occurs. So we want to ensure that our residents and our tourists and our business people get off the island and into a safe place. When you evacuate, you don't really have to go 200-300 miles to evacuate. Go inland, okay? And if you think about it, the evacuation centers have been chosen because they're on a hill. They're up a little higher. So locating areas around those evacuation centers where you can go to works, or ensure that the personal support network that you may be going to is in a non-flooding zone. I think everyone on this call should have received in their email the hurricane guide from the city, Miami-Dade County, and it has all of this information in it as well. If you do not have that, we have a whole load of those at our EOC, and we can get the copies of that to you. All right, medication and supplies. You need to make sure you have at least 1 week worth of medication. Okay, you need to make sure that to work with your pharmacist and get extra medication. Also, try to get prescriptions, if you can get a prescription written up for your medication. So try to get extra medication set up with that. Talk to your physician. Ask them what their recommendations are if we have to evacuate, what they need to know, how you can get in touch with them in that case of emergency. Now is the time to talk to them. And as I said before, getting a copy of your prescription would be very important, that you can have that online, or that you can have that. And then also, this is really important. Talk to your healthcare, like your physicians. Talk to, ask the people who run your senior centers, the buildings we have in this city. Ask them what their emergency operations plan is. What do they plan to do with the residents in the building? What do they plan to do? You would like to know what happens with the staff. Are they leaving? And, if you're going to be by yourself, which you shouldn't be, you should be gone. But talk to them and find out what their emergency operations plans are as well. Emergency documentation. What we say to that is to find a waterproof box, all right? And in that box, you're going to put anything and everything, any documentation that's important to you. Copies of your medical insurance cards, copy of your health records, your prescriptions, names of every single person in your personal network system, anything you have to do with disability insurance, anything that you can put in there, your lease, your mortgage paper, your home ownership paper, anything goes in this box. What I also recommend is, if you have the ability, scan every single piece of document you have and upload it in a secure, what you feel is a secure network. For example, I did that, all my records, passport, driver's license, pet information, all of that. I uploaded that into my Google Drive. I invited my family who would be evacuating. I won't evacuate. I'll either be in the Emergency Operations Center, or I'll be in Mount Sinai in the Emergency Operations Center. But upload it to Google Drive, invite your family. I invited my sister. She's my out-of-state contact. You should have at least one out-of-state contact, reason being that if you don't want to clog down the phone lines with people calling you going, "Are you okay?" have this one person, let your whole family, friends outside of the state know this is the person you're going to contact to find out how I'm doing, because this is the person I'm going to talk to. Also, you'll find that the phone lines will get clogged. So if you text, it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth, and it's easier if you text your outside contact to see how you're doing. All right, April talked about the Emergency Operations Assistance Program. They provide transportation, shelter, medical monitoring. They do wellness checks. I know that several times a year we call it a call down. They'll call everyone on their list to see if they still need to be on the list, and if there's any medical changes, any medical personnel changes. So they do that at least 2 to 3 times. I know for sure 2 times a year, but they may do it more than that. If you have mobility issues, if you're homebound, if you're unable to get to a bus stop, you've got medical needs, you're bedbound, you're electrically dependent, and you require daily assistance. And this talks about, you need to register today. Once you're registered, then you'll get your call down every, twice or more a year to ensure that you're still available for that. All right, so here's the last screen. It has my contact information. It has a visual copy of what the application looks like. And you'll see where it says www.miamidade.gov. This is a page you can go to for information and application for your EEAP. The one thing I'll let you know is we at the Division of Emergency Management, if you know people who cannot get access to the web, we have hard copies. We have hard copies English, in Spanish, and Creole. So if you know people that we can give hard copies to, that we can assist with that, you can do that. This is where you can go to the city website, Emergency Management, and it gives you so many resources that we have within the city. There's actually a tab on the right where you can get resources for senior citizens. We have some great websites you can go to outside of the city website, like ready.gov, to get anything that you need to prepare for any hazard that you may come across. And that's it. That's what I have.
Wow, that's some great information. Irene, what was that 311 phone number on the last slide?
The 311 phone number, you can actually call into them and provide updated information. Instead of having to wait for them to call you, you can call in and get provided update information for your EEAP. They can also provide you preparedness information as well. But a majority of that preparedness information you'll find on our website or on the county website. The other thing I forgot to tell everyone is make sure you keep up on what on reputable news sites. Don't go to Victor's site, on Facebook, and he says, oh, this hurricane is spread out and it's headed to 5 or 6 different states. Go to the Miami Beach Facebook page, Twitter page, MBTV. Also, Miami-Dade County has some, Facebook, Twitter, and also your local news station, ABC, CBS, NBC, any of that. But just please stay with your reputable news stations. They're the ones that's also going to tell you if you have to evacuate from the beach, when you're going to be able to come back, to the beach.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I can't see if there's a hand up, so.
Yeah, me, Larissa from Unidad again. Is there any requirement now with this COVID for the seniors to go to any shelters if they are vaccinated or not? Do they have a requirement for that?
They are not supposed to be able, because of HIPAA, and it's
Mhm.
not a private entity. Let me hold on for a second. I'm sorry. I'm going to look that up real quick. They're not supposed to ask if you've been vaccinated or not. What they have done in the shelters is they're going to cut the number of people by at least half, so you're separated, and also to make sure that you have the equipment, the masks when you come in. But hold on. Let me check on that. That may be something that we'll have to send out to you at some point. I didn't provide that. I apologize on that. I may find it for you at the end. Give me a chance and I'll get back to you on that. Okay?
Thank you.
About Mount Sinai.
How about for the hospital, for Mount Sinai?
Oscar, do you know if Mount Sinai is going to change? I think April is gone.
Oscar had to leave as well, but
Okay.
I can find that out for you later, Larissa. I'll ask.
Thank you.
Irene, can you also send me the link via email, because on Facebook they're asking me for the link to sign up for the EEAP?
Okay. And the other way you can do it too is to go to the miami-dade.gov, and in the search bar at the top, you can put in EEAP or emergency evacuation. You can put that in. It'll take you right to the page.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you so much, Irene.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Our next presentation is from the City of Miami Beach Transportation Department, and it's going to be regarding some issues that we mentioned in the last meeting as far as a crosswalk, our freebies, and the trolleys. And I don't know, is it Alicia Fernandez who will be speaking?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone. This is Alicia Fernandez from the Transportation Analyst from the Transportation and Mobility Department. I will be presenting to this committee the two transit programs that we have available for the community as right now. So the first one is Freebie for seniors. As you may aware, we started this service back on November 16, 2020, last year. We are currently offering a free freebie service to transport seniors from to their homes to the closest Publix or pharmacy. To be eligible for this for the program, seniors shall live in one of the 40 designated low-income affordable facilities. They should be over 65 years old, and they must within so they should be over 65 years old, or the other way that seniors, if they don't live in one of those 40 facilities, they must participate in one of the following programs provided by Unidad Jewish Community Services or Little Havana. These programs provide counseling, transportation, meal programs, and others. The service is available for seniors 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We used to allow only 2 seniors per car per trip due to social distance. However, since the majority of the seniors have been vaccinated, we are now allowing full capacity on the vehicles, which means 4 passengers per trip, to improve service efficiency. Masks are still required on board of the vehicles. In addition, I would like to say that we have received a positive feedback from our senior community for this regarding this service. This service will be in place at least up to September this year, which is the end of our fiscal year. And then after that, we have to wait for instructions from our city commission to see if the service will continue or will end. So that will be it for Freebie for seniors. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the trolleys unless anybody has a question about the Freebie program.
I think Cindy has her hand raised. Cindy?
Yes, hi. Good morning, Alicia. I was wondering, can you explain to the committee how many of the freebies that we have, which buildings exactly they go to? And, explain that to them so they know, because I know you were saying, is it just the housing authority that gets them, or are you allowing other buildings outside of that? Because I think you had said on our transportation call it was 3. So how exactly does that play out against all the buildings? And because there's many buildings on this call.
Okay, so we have 3 vehicles for this service, okay? And they're serving 40 facilities within Miami Beach. I can tell you some of them, but the information of the 40 facilities are posted in our website. So I can tell you that, for example, Stella Maris is in there, Federation Towers, Rebecca Towers, Consum Towers, and we have a lot more. Unfortunately, I don't have the list in front of me because we are having IT issues here in the office. So, but the information is posted in our website. I can share that with the committee later. I just need the information, the contact information, if you're okay.
Yeah, it's just there's some independent buildings, some people that might be representative, particularly Unidad. So I think what might be good is if you get that to Unidad as well, they don't
Okay.
already have it so that they understand, because with only having 3 vehicles, now granted, thankfully we're allowed to have 4 seniors on, it would be good to know, which days the freebies are going to be where, so that they give that information out. People are not going there and they can't get on.
Right. But it's not like we don't have like specific days per building. This service is an on-demand service. So basically, whoever from whatever building can call Freebie, and then they pick them up. So it's not like, for example, we're not serving one building one day and then the other building the other day. No, we used to do that at the beginning, but right now it's basically on demand, and it's working well. Has been working.
Question. So does each driver like cover an area? Is that what I'm guessing, since there's 3, like one's South Beach, one's Mid Beach, and one's North Beach? Is that kind of what the plan is, or every day on demand to maximize efficiency?
Yes, every day on demand. For example, we know that at Rebecca Towers, we have a lot of seniors using the service. So basically, we based on that demand, most of the time we have one freebie vehicle there. However, this program has spread, within the city. So
Is it in Miami Beach?
at any time, a senior from one of those facilities can request a service. And then the driver, doesn't matter, the driver, it's not like one driver is serving South Beach and the other one North Beach. No, it's based on demand.
Okay, but my question here, and I'm sure it's already been thought out, I'm just trying to follow your train of thought, is if Rebecca Towers, for example, is not busy at the moment and somebody in Mid Beach wants a ride, the guy's going to go all the way to Mid Beach, or is the driver already there?
No,
how does that work?
The driver drive to Mid Beach from wherever he was before.
Yeah, it depends on, this is Josiel Ferrer, Assistant Director for the Transportation Department. Just to interject real quickly, it depends on who's closer. So they will be dispatched based on proximity to the building. So if there is a driver, it doesn't mean the driver from Rebecca Towers has to make their way up there. If one of the vehicles is closer to Mid Beach or wherever they're called from, they can attend to that, and they could, depending on proximity, they can get there quicker than, if somebody was assigned to a particular location or area. Because and what happens with the particular location and area is it also having them a little bit more flexible. Not only does it help, but it also it reduces any issues of transfers and things like that, because if we confine vehicles to a particular area, then you could have the issue where that vehicle, you know, cannot cross certain limits or boundaries that we set upon them. So having them a little bit more flexible or fluid works better for both the service and the driver.
Okay, Josiel, I've got two more quick questions based on what you just said. So they are only taking them to Publix and say a Walgreens. I'm getting different stories from seniors. That's question one. And then the other question is what about if you're not in any of the senior housing buildings and you're a senior? That wasn't quite clear with the explanation that was provided. Are they going to be able to get a ride? Let's just say there's somebody that lives in an apartment building in North Beach, but they're not, and they're a member of Unidad, but they're not in Stella Maris, for example, or the 3 or 4 buildings up there. What happens to that senior?
So I'll address each question individually, and I'll have Alicia help me out as well. I think when Alicia was describing the service at the beginning was that if a resident or a senior citizen, it's not in one of the 40 buildings, but belongs to one of the programs like Unidad, they would also be served. Alicia, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct.
And in addition to that, they would, the program as it stands would take folks to the market, to Publix in that case, or to their pharmacy. I don't know that it's confined to only Walgreens or any of that. It's to their pharmacy. Now, if any seniors experiencing any issues in terms of, you know, they're being told otherwise or are not, you know, being provided the information or not being taken to where they need to go in terms of, you know, what the program offers, then we would address that individually. But that's the requirement of the program, and they either go to the market or they go to the pharmacy.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
I have a question. So if they belong to Unidad, how are you guys gonna know that they're members of Unidad? That's number one. Number two, is there like you have a call center that we at Unidad can call you to get the service for our seniors, or the seniors can call themselves?
Correct. So, José, I'm gonna address that one. So, if you have a senior that is part of Unidad, what we do, they have to do an enrollment. Okay, so Unidad has to call our dispatch for Freebie to confirm that that person is part, belongs to that program, and then we do that.
Question. So the seniors have to enroll themselves in the program.
Correct.
Online. Okay, so they're not gonna do it online. So Unidad has to do it for them.
Unidad has to call Freebie one time, okay, to let them know that the senior belongs to Unidad. And then Freebie will keep the record of the senior name. So every time that somebody that he calls again after the enrollment, they're part of the program. But it has to be either senior that doesn't live in one of the 40 facilities, they have to do an enrollment.
Okay, so let's say I have any number, let's say 100 seniors that want to participate. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enroll them in the system, and I will send you a list with their names so we don't have to call. Can we do that too?
Well, we haven't had that situation before. Usually what we have had in the past is like somebody calls and then they're part of the program, and then we ask them to call that program for them to call Freebie. But if you have a situation like that, if you have a situation that you have 100 seniors that you want to enroll in the program, I can give you my contact information and we can work with Freebie to get those enrolled. Because it's not one senior. I understand it's gonna be like a lot of them. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Just go ahead and send me all the information you have to, please.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Does anybody has another question regarding Freebie?
Alicia, I just have one more question for you. Can you just perhaps email Larissa, because I'm in agreement with her, that's going to be too much for these seniors to do. And, I think if she could just send you her list and say, these are the ones that are interested. And then that way you have them. And if they decide to take a ride, they're on there. And then that way you're only doing it a few times and she's only a few times. And then we've captured all the people that might not be in a quote unquote standalone in a senior building. Just my 2 cents.
Okay. I need to have the contact information of the person that I will be contacting in reference to this.
I can send you an email.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to move along to a discussion on each senior center. Shall we start with Council Towers South? How's everything?
Debbie, hold on. Sorry. Transportation still has to give an update on the.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
yes.
sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. This is Josiel Ferreira, Assistant Director for Transportation. And thank you, Diana, for inviting us here today. And thank you all for having us here today. So our department has been working with the Florida Department of Transportation, who oversees Harding Avenue and who would be the owner of that project. Approximately about 3 years ago, the department approved the crosswalk and was performing the design in-house and trying to acquire the funding. Typically, when FDOT programs a project, they put it at the end of their 5th year. They work on a 5-year work plan called the 5-year work program, and they put it at the end of their 5th year. So, once they finalize their analysis and design, they had put the project at the end of their 5-year, which was, I believe, 2024 was the last time. So we've had a lot of work with FDOT because we were not happy with that timeline, because we understand that this is a need for the area. So DOT is in the process of identifying funding, and they put a little bit of a pause on it because 2020 did with the pandemic and all had a severe impact in the state's funding sources. So, but they have been able to identify funding, and they're actually trying now to program the project to begin in 2022, in their fiscal year 2022. Now we're waiting confirmation from them on what the new letting date could be for the project. And letting date is nothing more than sort of their advertisement date for that project. We're waiting on the exact date, but we understand that it's going to be in their fiscal year 2022. Fiscal year 2022 does not match calendar year 2022. Actually, their fiscal year 2022 would begin in July 2021. So just keep that in mind, that when I say fiscal year 2022, that the actual letting date may be sometime, I don't know, October or November of this calendar year that we're on. So we're awaiting that final date, and once we receive that, I'll be happy through Diana to forward it on to you guys. Either way, we would be writing a letter to commission at that point with that date, and that information would be shared with you all. Just to create, if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. In addition to that, just so you guys know, the Florida Department of Transportation is also working on a project on Harding Avenue in general, on a milling and resurfacing project. They're doing the design at this point, and the city has requested various pedestrian improvements, including 2 new crosswalks. So the department is now considering those, and they have approved it. They're now trying to align the funding in order to include it in that project. So that corridor in general, not only for Stella Maris, but for any seniors or anybody else that lives in the Harding Avenue and Abbott Avenue corridor, there's going to be additional crosswalks and improvements to the existing crosswalks there.
If I may, this is Alicia Fernandez again from the Transportation Department. I would like to give you to the committee a quick update on the trolley service. So as you may are aware, our trolley service resumed on February the 15th. The service is currently operating at a reduced level of service, 15 hours per day from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. We're operating with 15 vehicles daily as compared to 25 vehicles prior to pandemic. Vehicles are being sanitized every loop. We still are operating at 50% limited capacity. However, we're planning to increase capacity on more of the vehicles in the next few days. The service frequency is approximately 30 minutes for all routes. Change that we have made to our trolley service via 11th Street Loop was eliminated, and Sobe A doesn't serve Belle Isle anymore. Still, Sobe B is serving Belle Isle. We have seen an increase in ridership since we restarted the service, and we anticipate to see more passengers on board of the vehicles after June 1st, when Miami-Dade County resumed the fare collection on board of their buses. So that's it. I don't know if anybody has any question on the trolleys.
Gabby, you have your hand up. Do you have a question? You're on mute. Gabby, you're on mute. Thank you.
Yes, I got it. Thank you. And the question is for Mr. Ferrer. Stella Maris residence has been requesting a pedestrian crossing at 8060 Harding and 87 Collins Avenue. It is very dangerous to cross these avenues due to the dense traffic. There are residents who avoid going to the park or the beach because it's dangerous to cross these roads. For a short time, they put stop signs, but miracle disappear. Miracle appear, miracle disappear in short time. In this short time, was very helpful to cross this avenue. In Collins was, but now there aren't any signs. Just in the street, why cross, but nobody respect. We really need a signs to help to cross these avenues. Could you please do something for this request?
Sure, Ms. Baglietto. We have, as I was explaining at the beginning, there's a project program, but can you give me a little bit of details on the signs? I know that there had been some signs installed on Collins Avenue, but I wasn't aware of signs having been installed on Harding. I would have to find out a little bit more information on that because I do not have that information, and I would have to get back to you on that. I know that there had been signs installed on Collins Avenue, like sort of in the center of the street, and that was a pilot that was done by the state, but they have become quite an issue in terms of their maintenance. So we've been following up with the state consistently on that. Other than that, we're trying to advance the permanent project as much as possible. As going to have a signalized intersection there in order to improve the safety, not only for the seniors but for every single pedestrian in that area. As far as the signs is concerned, I'm gonna have to get a little bit more information on that because I don't have information on the signs that you're mentioning. So I will have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, but we request a long time. I don't know what do you expect. Going to be accidents, and there are accidents. I hear people who fall, people who can't to run but have to run because the car's coming. Any sign, any protection.
That's like I mentioned in my update at the beginning. That Harding Avenue, it's under the jurisdiction of the Florida Department of Transportation, so it's a state corridor. We have been working with them. Initially, they have programmed the project far out in the future. We've been working with them and to try to get them to do it either to try to commence it this calendar year. So we're still waiting on the final date from them. But we have been trying to push the state as much as possible because this is a priority for us. To see if there's something in the interim that can be done, as you mentioned, the signage. I'm gonna look into that and try to work with the state on that. And I know the request came from a long time ago, and believe me, we have been trying to push the state to program the project. Unfortunately, it's not a city quarter, so the city cannot go ahead and do the project. But we've been trying to push the state to program the project and to get it done. And as late as last week, we received the good news that the state was moving it forward, and we're just awaiting on that final date. But we're hoping that it'll commence within this calendar year.
Well, listen, I don't understand because this request is more than 1 year officially. Personally, I guide this request. I saw in Surfside many places this pilots stopped just a few months ago. They killed some of them, and I don't understand in this place where is older people needed is you're going to do that. It's very important.
I completely understand the importance of it, and what I can tell you, I'm going to look into that signage. I don't have information on that signage because it was not done by the city. I only have information on something that was done on Collins Avenue, which, in all honesty, it was rather ineffective. But I would certainly take a look at what's the signage that you're mentioning, particularly on Surfside, and we'll reach out to the state to see if something can be done in the interim in Miami Beach.
Well, I hope so in short time, please.
I hope so as well. We'll reach out to the state today if possible. We'll do a site visit to the location that you mentioned in Surfside. We'll drive the corridor and see if we can push the state to do something in the interim.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy, do you have your hand up still?
No, I have further questions.
Okay.
Josiel answered several of them just to Gabby just a second ago, but Josiel, like here south of Fifth, like the school signs where they have the yellow sign with the person crossing, I haven't been to that corner over there in North Beach for a while, but you mentioned that it's a state. Can't you review, like you mentioned a moment ago, that site and say, look, this has been out there for a year and they're seniors, and the signage, could you at least, get them? You said it's going to take until the end of the year possibly, but is there a way you could, just increase the signage like in a school situation? Because it's very similar. And I would think that might be able to help, the seniors over there at Stella Marie's,
if I am not mistaken,
adding some signage. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Cindy, the issue, I believe that the static signage should be there. It's just not being effective just because of the dramatic conditions of the area.
But you're going to go check.
What we need to take a look at is what other signage may be possible, whether it be something in between the lanes or something along those lines to try to help the situation. Because, right now, keep in mind, we only have a crosswalk at 85th. We don't have a crosswalk at 87th. The state will be building a new crosswalk at 87th as part of that project that I mentioned at the end of the year.
Yeah, I just think if you can give them a temporary help to help visibility, like you mentioned, as soon as possible, that could give them a Band-Aid, because I have crossed that, not for a while, it is dangerous.
We're gonna seek that. Yeah, working with the state, we're gonna seek if they can do something in the interim while the project develops.
Well, is there any way the county can help you on that? Because I know you've gone to the county before too.
In this case, no, Cindy. In this case, this is a state road, so the state has ultimate decision and power over it. So the county, I don't know that the county can make a decision on that, but we'll explore every avenue we can to see if we can get something in the interim.
Okay, great. And then I've got a couple quick questions on the trolley. Alicia mentioned that they're going to lift, and is that going to be at 100% capacity for the trolleys? And are we going to let the buildings know about the increased capacity? Is that going to be, for example, 24 to 28 riders on the trolley? And when would this be? Is this going to be June 1st? She said a couple of days. I don't know what a couple of days means. So my concern is can that be relayed to, the Miami Housing Authority, to Unidad, because they do have the Freebie and they do have the bus option. And from what I'm understanding on our call that we had with the bus people, they were planning on lifting it also. I heard in some cases it's already been lifted. I was on a bus on Biscayne about 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't like they had any social distancing at all. So I'm just wondering if we can, get that relayed to the buildings when that exactly will be lifted and let them know so they can get on a bus instead, just in case they're not comfortable. So they have options.
Okay, Cindy, yes. So we are in a process to getting to allow 100% of seating capacity on board of the trolleys. We are expecting for that to happen next week, because it's when Miami-Dade County is going to start collecting first again. So we're in a process to allow 100% of seating capacity on board of the trolleys. So Miami-Dade County already is allowing seating capacity on 100% of seating capacity on board of their vehicles. So we're in a process to allow the same, and we are expecting that happening next week after June 1st.
Okay, so question to that, when you say seating capacity, that's not going to include anybody standing in the aisles? Because I think it's 24 to 28, I think is the capacity of the trolley, so.
24. So yes, You're correct.
So is there going to be signage on this, or how's the driver going to know exactly how many people on board? Well, sorry to ask that, it's just I use it regularly, the trolley, so I haven't, experienced them letting over, say, 10 or 12 on right now. But I just want to know, how is a driver going to maintain that number since it's going to be higher for them?
Okay, so like I said before, we are in a process to get this happening next week. We have a lot of questions, and in reference to the driver he's not going to allow anybody standing on the trolleys.
Does that answer your question, Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, right now they allow people to stand, but they kind of are not allowing more than, say, 10. Sometimes they've allowed a few more. It's gone over the 10, but that's why I'm just asking, because I don't think the community out there is aware of the change. And that's my main concern, is letting people know so they can know, hey, you can get on the bus instead. Or if you're not comfortable, you can just wait for Freebie and make an appointment for that. So they
will be aware of the change. We have to spread the word. This is something that is in process. It's not implemented yet. But we're gonna spread the word once once we're allowed 100% seating capacity. Okay. We'll make sure everybody knows.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Any other questions? Okay. Senior centers, Council Tower South.
Everything is okay. I appreciate all information. Very important, very important. Thank you so much for all. We are participating, informed us about this.
Well, thank you for being here and representing. Council Towers North. Four Freedoms.
Okay, I'm here in Melbourne.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Well, I'd like to share a kind of service that was provided to Council Towers, both buildings, and that I'm recommending to my building, that's for Freedom, is the service from DMV. They came to the building and they had driver license. They brought their equipment here, and then they provide those service to the residents. It was very, very nice. Okay, they provided the driver license for everybody who needs to change. They brought their equipment, took pictures, and this was immediately very, very nice. I'd like to share, if other buildings wants to use the service, they may contact them. It's very, very, very nice service. I was very nice. And
Thank you for
regarding-
sharing. That's fantastic. Carolina, you have a question?
Yes, and Hilda, what happened? I don't know. So the elevators is the two elevators and Council Tower North is working now.
Well, no, only one. The other one is ready, waiting for some kind of inspection. You know? But
Okay. So maybe it's a 1 year ago, waiting for this. The city coming and inspection the elevator, right?
yes, the city, yes. But
I'll follow up again with the about
manage.
the elevators,
Yeah.
and also wanted to share. Commissioner Gongora's office will be providing also that mobile,
Yeah.
the mobile for the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles. Remember
Yeah.
the name. They do require for it to be at least 30 appointments. So I will be sending the flyer this week. So it's going to be the first 30 that register to sign up. And I'll send it to each of you so y'all can promote it in your senior centers.
This is
Yeah, it's very, I've heard very good things about. The thing is now with COVID, you have to have the 30 appointments before they come. Because they used to come to the police department every month, but they're not doing that because of COVID. So we're going to be providing that service.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Federation? Do you have any report from Federation? Rebecca Towers?
I see Magnolia's on. And Ileana.
Hurricane season preparation. And then second, Rebecca Tower is they did the COVID-19 vaccination already.
Elena, I can't understand you because you're breaking up. Can you repeat that?
Okay, Rebecca Tower is prepare everything for hurricane season. Is Rebecca Tower hurricane season preparation.
So you're saying Rebecca
then-
Towers is ready for hurricane preparedness?
Is working.
Is working on it.
That's right.
Okay. Is there anything that you need that we can do with, that the government can help you with, or are they just putting their program together?
We're working.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Stella?
Well, we received this document. It's the recommendation to be prepared for any emergency in times of hurricanes. That's it.
Are you working on the hurricane preparedness program? Everybody has information what they need?
No.
How can we help?
No, we receive an indication for emerging in times of emerging or hurricanes.
Remember that emergency management's there to help you with your plans too, if you need any resources for that.
All right.
Thank you, Irene. Gabby, reach out if you need some assistance, okay?
Yeah, listen. By the way, I would like to say to Malines, no? Malines, I like your exposition. It's so beautiful exposition about your topic. Congratulations.
I've actually come to your buildings and done presentations to your residents. So if you ever need that, the only thing I ask is I'm going to have a Spanish interpreter with that because unfortunately I do not speak Spanish.
Thank you, Irene. Unidad?
Thank
How's
you.
everything?
This is Larissa again with Miss Mari Bauer here. Let me first to say thank you. Second, I would like to know if the flyers that you guys are gonna send are gonna be in English and Spanish, because the majority of our participants are Spanish speakers. And then last, we still helping the community in Miami Beach to get vaccinated. So if you guys have any seniors that need to be vaccinated, just send them to Unidad or tell them, let them know our phone number. They can communicate with me or Sarah here in the center, and we can tell them where to go to get vaccinated.
Larissa, do you want to give us that phone number now for anybody that's on that would like to have it?
305
I'm sorry, go ahead.
305
Mhm.
867 0051.
Okay, thank you very much. Carolina, your hand's up. Do you have another question?
No, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. New business. Do we have any new business anyone wants to bring up? No? Well, with that, we're going to close the meeting. We look forward to seeing you all next month. Thank you to everyone that brought all the hurricane information, and we really look forward to being prepared and ready, as Miami Beach always is, with all the support of our government and our elected officials and all the volunteers and the institutions that really put a lot of work and research into what's needed. So with that, we will adjourn our May 24th, 2021 Senior Affairs Committee. See you all next month. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Bye, thank you.